welcome you back, our visitors, to the Bold Step. Today we have a very amazing person. I will like him to introduce himself so that we know whom are we talking to. Welcome, and you can introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It really gives me a great pleasure and honor to be featured on the Bold Step. This is I've heard about Bold Step for quite some time, and I'm happy that today I'm now being featured so that we can also contribute in changing lives in a better way. So my name is Elon Kipngetich Bet. Elon Kipngetich Bet is many things, but I normally start by saying that I'm blind, totally blind to be specific. So my sight is negative, if there is anything about that. Yes, so I'm totally blind for a very long time, almost a lifetime actually, because I lost it at the age of 2. Yes, so that is who I am. Um, uh, so I've been blind for over 20 plus years. Yeah, because I'm not yet 30, I'm still in my 20s. Yes, so I've lived that life in blindness for the longest I can remember. In fact, I normally like saying that, in blindness, if you lose sight beyond 3 years, then you are considered someone who was not born blind. But normally, when you lose it below the age of 2, it is as if you lost it when you are born, because any person below the age of 2, you cannot remember anything about yourself. That is the same case for me, because I do not know anything to do with sight, and that has made it easy for me to live that life in blindness. So once again, I'm grateful and looking forward to, through my story, be able to change lives one way or the other. Thank you.
Actually, talking about your story, everyone has a story. I have a story as well, and our stories are different. And what I believe in your story can impact someone's life, can maybe encourage someone who was feeling down, maybe someone who is going through the same things you're going through. Maybe if they get to watch your story in one way or another, they can get motivation, or they can be uplifted in one way or the other. So yeah, I can give you this opportunity. You tell us your story, because the way you've started, you've told us that you became blind at the age of 2. So maybe if you can journey with us throughout that, maybe from the age of 2, or maybe if you had what made you be blind.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm asked this question, I find it a bit difficult to answer. Number one, because as I've said, I could only give the second-hand information, because I did not experience the loss of sight as it happened. It happened, yes, but I did not experience it based on the fact that I was young. I was a small child who cannot remember anything that happened then. So for me, anytime when I get an opportunity to answer that question, it's never easy for me to answer it. Even from the way I was explained to me, there are things, of course, that are not adding up for reasons I've never really bothered to ask. But I will say this. I lost my sight in a mysterious way. Yeah, to me, it is still mysterious up to date. It doesn't bother me, because I do not know what I am missing. Yeah, it would have affected me seriously if I had lost this sight when I knew who I am. It would have really affected me if, for example, I remember being sighted, and then all of a sudden I lose the sight. So really, what I'm told is that, of course, there was some chemical, there was a building construction happening around, and then, of course, as a small child, at the age of 2, surely, you do not expect your parents to always be there, sitting with you, babysitting you around. They also have to go do their own things. So, of course, I was with the fundis there, and there was some chemical that was there, which To date, I can't remember what type of the chemical it was, but apparently the chemical was put in a soda bottle. So, as a small child, whenever you see a soda bottle, what comes to your imagination is that that is soda. And that is what happened to me. So I went for the chemical with an intention of drinking it. And I'm young, so as I tried to hold the bottle to my mouth, the bottle fell down. The chemical was full to the brim. So when the chemical, when the bottle fell down from my tiny hands, the chemical splashed into my eyes, and I'm told I did not lose that sight immediately. They thought it's just normal, so painkillers here and there, trying to splash some, some water to neutralize the chemical. But that did not work. So apparently, after like a week or so, is when they realized that things are not okay, because there was some the eyes, the way that the way my eyes appeared then. I would just say that it didn't look good. So they had to take an action. So I was taken to hospital, and it then appeared that I was slowly losing my sight. So operations here and there, but it wasn't the situation. I think the only thing that maybe the operation did is that there is nothing. It's no longer painful. My eyes are no longer painful. I no longer feel any pain. Yes. So the operation took place and nothing worked really. Yes. So I would say that I lost my sight in a mysterious way, and it happened so fast. I think when that happened, in less than a month or so, I was blind, and we now had to work on the modalities of moving on with life, or rather helping this child to move on with life as it is. Yes. Yes. Okay. So that is how I lost it.
Okay. So maybe if I just take you back, you've said that you no longer feel pain. So when the chemical maybe got into your eye, were you feeling some pain? Were you told that?
Yes, I'm told that I cried.
Oh.
I cried for quite some time.
Okay.
Many days.
Okay.
Yeah, on and off. But it appeared that it is seemingly true that it was painful. A story that I cannot tell myself. Yes. Yes, but it was painful.
Okay. So I'm really grateful because you've said that you're not always comfortable answering this, because it's kind of you're giving information. It's like from a second-hand person. You didn't, Yes. But it's so important, because most of the people assume that they meet a person with disability. This person is born with disability. So it's just good because you've clarified. Not all people are born with the disabilities. Sorry,
Not all are born with a disability. Of course, anyone who is born with a disability, that is sometimes it is considered genetic. Maybe you have a family history where one of your people in your lineage have had the disability before. Especially the nature of that disability, be it blindness, hearing impairment, or physical impairment, such kind of a thing. So whenever it is genetic, it's quite disturbing, because then you grow up wondering how things will be in your lifetime. It normally happens that when you're mature and of course you have to get married, you start thinking of, so how will your kids be? Are they going to be blind the same to the way I am? So anyone who is not born blind, or anyone who is not born with that disability, I would say it is a relief in a way, because it just happened. The circumstances of that of the day, made it happen, and so you live that kind of life knowing that it is you, and it doesn't necessarily have to affect your other members of your family. Yes.
Okay. So so bet here you became blind maybe before the age of 3.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how was your education?
My education was, I would say, it has had its own fair share of challenges and success. Success in the sense that here I am, and I'm speaking in English, which means I went to school. But there I was born in a village.
Okay.
So I was not born in a place where people speak Swahili and English. I was born in a typical village where people speak in mother tongue.
Yeah.
So if I'm here and I can speak English and I can also speak Swahili very well, then it means that there was some good success in my education life. But again, it didn't go with, of course, it did not happen. It was not a rosy journey.
Yeah.
It was not a rosy journey. Many things happened, which we might be able to visit as we carry on.
Yeah.
But as I said, when you lose sight and you do not know who you are, it is easy to make through, life, because you do not know what you are missing. Unlike someone who loses sight as an adult,
Yeah.
or as someone who understands what is going on around his or her environment, that person is likely to go through a lot of challenges because psychologically he or she feels affected, and that might have a lot of effects on his or her general life. So for me, I thank God, actually. In my line of duty as we speak, I've had to meet quite a number of people who are blind.
Yeah.
And I've experienced, at least I have a feeling of what happens when you lose your sight as an adult versus what happens when you lose your sight as a small boy, like now what happened for my case. So the only challenge is that normally when you lose when you become blind as a small child, the burden is not yours. The burden solely lies on your parents and your caregivers. Those are the people who go through a lot of challenges. Yeah. And they normally pray that you grow up, get to understand who you are, so that you can at least be able to now take over and be yourself. Yeah. So the challenges, many challenges were on the side of my parents and the caregivers, because here you are as a 2-year-old, you've lost sight, you're totally blind. Yeah. That doesn't deny you the right of playing around. That doesn't deny you the right of doing things that any other child at the age of 2 should be able to do. Yes, and you see now, if you are to do all these, then you might have to be monitored from time to time, so that you don't harm yourself. So that you don't harm yourself. Yeah. So my education life, I started in a day school. Yeah. I started in a day school. Thanks God, because I was catered for by the government then. Because I remember my first time to go to a day school, I was picked up by a special education teacher who was sent to my nearest public school. Yes, the nearest primary school that was, the local public schools, the normal public schools, but then a special education teacher, a well-trained teacher in special needs education was sent. Yeah. He came straight to my home and, said that he had been sent. Good thing is that at the time, it was very easy to, when you become blind, or when you have a disability, and the same case has been reported, yeah, it was a bit easy for you to be assisted. Yeah. That was in the late 90s, I think 99 or 2000. Yes, so a special education teacher came and he said that he had been sent to take care of me as a teacher, yeah, school-wise. Yes, and I remember that is how I started school. But then, this is only one teacher. And you have to learn, like, the normal way, the way that is considered normal within the societal context. So this one teacher cannot be able to cater for you from A to Z. Yeah. Yes, so I went to a nursery school where we had a teacher who was only trained, just an ECD teacher, not basically to touch on matters disability. Yeah. Yes, but we struggled for about 1 year, 2 years, nursery, standard 1, standard 2. But then it happened that things were not going as expected, because here I am, I'm in standard 2. I still don't even know a word in English. Yeah. I can't even speak anything in Swahili. Because I remember my exams, then we used to count trees outside the class. We used to count trees. We used to touch flowers, what and what. Things that even myself, I couldn't understand what was really happening. and sometimes I would be called as number 2, number 11. So I'm not sure whether I was just being allotted a certain number, a certain position.
Okay.
Because I would be number 11, I would be number 2, I would be number 20. so well, then I think it started dawning onto family friends who at least knew, whom I would say that they were learned in a way.
Yeah.
So it started dawning on them that, this guy, we need to do something. Yeah, so that is the time when they now came up with an idea of taking me to a special school.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all along this time,
this
you
was
were in
just
a public school.
yes, this is just a public school.
Okay.
So now the idea came whereby they had to plan on how to take me to a special school.
Yeah.
A special school where all my needs would be catered for, and at least I can now be able to learn in the most comfortable way as possible. Yes. So they went to Kisumu. There's a school called Kibo School for the Blind. It is in Kisumu.
Yeah.
Yes, outskirts of Kisumu. So they went there, and they managed to secure me a place. Yes, and I remember on the 26th of June 2001, I went to Kibo School for the Blind as a new student. And just to show you how things were not working previously in a public school, I went to start as a nursery school pupil. Yes. I started off, I just went there as a new student who has never gone to school. Yes.
From class 2.
Yes, from class 2 to nursery. And it was tough. It was tough, I can tell you, because by the way, when you go to a special school, you go to a boarding school, and you are 8 or 7. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
And to worsen it all, you do not possess a good understanding of the language that is spoken there. You don't know Swahili, you don't know English.
Yeah.
Yes, so I remember then, the moment I reported, good thing is that the head teacher was coming from, he was speaking in the language that I understand.
The native language.
Yes.
Okay.
The head teacher then.
Yeah.
Yes. So at least I felt home.
Okay.
I felt at home. But there are challenges because here you are 20 of you probably in a dormitory, being taken care of by one matron who has to wash all your clothes, who has to do everything for all of you.